Alright, so as most of you probably know, the seventh Star Wars movie came out, and that they came out in came out Christmas Day, I think, of last year, or it was pretty recently though, and we went and saw it in the theaters, um, and also for my birthday I bought myself all six of the Star Wars movies, and now as it's April now, and basically there's the Amazon Instant Video of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, is now available on Amazon Instant Video, so I think gonna definitely buy that, so that way I have all seven. That's gonna be nice. I'm really happy. Like, I had myself a little Star Wars marathon for my birthday, but in this video I want to discuss Star Wars and philosophy. I guess could kind of think about what kind of philosophy, can be pulled from, or is is within the plot of Star Wars, and what kind of philosophical thought can be extracted from that. So basically, you have these two sides. You have the Force, which there's a few things that I want to discuss. That's a part of this. First is the Force, and then the rivalry between the Jedi and the Sith, or the Jedi and the dark side. So there's a couple of things that can be taken from that. I guess mostly what I want to discuss, that is philosophy. That is philosophy that has philosophy in it, is about the Force. No, I'm not going to talk about the movies, the plots of them really that much, but I am a big fan of the Sith Lords. Not necessarily that I like the philosophy of the Sith, but basically I love Darth Maul, I love Darth Sidious, I love Darth Vader, and I love Kylo Ren. I love those. They're just some really, really awesome characters. And I kind of like it. I kind of like how sometimes sometimes one who is trained as a Padawan and becomes a Jedi turns to the dark side, a la Anakin Skywalker, who became Darth Vader. So, the Force, according to these movies, is this thing which binds all of. I guess this is probably a bad way of talking about it, but because they say it better. But the Force is something that binds all of life. It involves midichlorians, and midichlorians are something that is within your cells. If you're a Jedi or a Sith Lord, you have midichlorians, which are a part of your cells, and if you have a you have a higher midichlorian count, then you are going to have some Jedi powers. So I guess, or you have to be trained to be able to use them. But basically, the Force is something that they'll say in those movies, use the Force, or may the Force be with you, because basically if you're a Jedi or a Sith Lord, you can sense things before they happen or as they're happening, even if so like even if you're not seeing something, you can, kind of like how in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, there was a plot to kill Senator Amidala, and Obi-Wan, who was the master of Anakin, they could both sense what was happening, so they went and saved her. They went and saved her, and then they went and chased the person who was doing this. So the Force is this thing that binds all of nature. It is within everything, according to this in this plot, and basically, this is something that allows you to be able to have such powers as levitation, to be able to have like telekinetic powers, to be able to have a form of telepathy, or to be able to know what's going on, and know you can feel the Force. You can kind of like when in the third movie, Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin had turned to the dark side and he killed everything. He killed everyone inside of the Jedi temple. He killed all of the younglings, the little Jedi learners. He killed everybody, including them. Yoda felt that. He was like, he felt it, and he kind of stumbled a little bit. He's like, I feel as if something terrible has happened. And that involves also, they always use lightsabers, of course, and that isn't just like a sword fighting thing. It's, you're able to, understand what your enemy is doing and be able to fight him on that. So, given that, and it is also the case, when Anakin in the first movie, The Phantom Menace, was brought in front of the Jedi Council, Yoda said to little Anakin, "I sense much fear in you," and Anakin is like, "What does that have to do anything with anything?" And Yoda's like, "Everything. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Fear is, according to the Jedi, is a direct path to the dark side. To be fearful of things, and it's basically to not understand that everything is going to happen as it's going to happen, and you have to deal with that." And basically, Anakin was very, very worried because he was having these visions of Padme Amidala, who he was with, of her suffering. So he wanted to save her. So he was talking with Senator Palpatine, or Chancellor Palpatine at the time, and Palpatine was this front as a person who he was basically masquerading as a person who is for the Republic and for peace, when really he was Darth Sidious. He was the Sith, the main Master Sith. So that's what was happening there. And basically, Palpatine said to Anakin, "Have you heard the legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" And Darth Plagueis became so powerful that he could prevent people that he loved from dying or bring them back from the dead. So, Palpatine said to Anakin, "There are powers that the Jedi do not know about that are within the dark side, and powers that you can have, and the Jedi are basically misleading you and all this stuff." He's trying to turn them against the Jedi, which he did. And I'm not going to tell you what happens there. You should probably watch the movie, and I'm sure if you were watching this, you probably know what happened. So what philosophy is kind of in this? I think, personally myself, there is, first of all, one thing I don't want to talk about too much. There's could be taken from that some sort of a Eastern, either Confucianist or Taoist or Buddhist sort of meditation, and the Force is, the way that the Jedi understand the Force is a way that is similar to how a Confucianist or a Taoist or a Buddhist would understand the world. They would understand the world via something like Tian, heaven, or the Tao, the way, something like that, in which they have to be peaceful, they have to meditate and understand things in a certain way to be happy and content, and to be harmonious with the whole world. So that's one thing that could be, discussed. The other thing is some sort of a existentialism, which is based on how to not give in to fear, and how fear and how bad things are a big important part of life and how things happen. And fear is something that you cannot really give into, that you are not supposed to give into. So, and that it's a existentialism in that it's a sort of a, not so great look on life, in that bad things are going to happen. You have to prepare yourself rather than trying to change things out there. You have to take care of yourself and make sure that you can handle it without becoming afraid, and thus without becoming angry and hateful, and thus causing suffering. So that's a big thing there, and I think that fear leading to anger and hate, I mean, a definite, that's a definite characteristic about humans. It's a definite characteristic about how we as humans work. It's how we as humans sort of think and act. And if we are afraid of something, then we'll get angry as to how to change it. And if something does happen, then we are definitely going to be angry and hateful towards who caused it or what caused it, and to try to make things out there change as to how you want them. You're going to become hateful and cause suffering, and thus you will be basically going towards the dark side, where a Sith Lord is going to try to change things out there because he wants to be as powerful as possible, to try to change whatever he can for his way, and to be self-centered, and try to change everything out there for his wants. Where a Jedi is going to try to accept everything that is going on out there and prepare himself and change himself. So that's, I think, the basic part of it. The whole fear, anger, hatred, suffering thing that the Jedi's hold, that you should never be afraid. You should try your best not ever to give in to fear. The fear, anger, hatred, suffering thing, I think that's a very philosophical thing about, again, who we are as people, again, who we are as humans, and just, who, that's, I think, is a big and very important thing. And I think that's pretty cool. I think and as I was watching as I was having my little Star Wars marathon, I kind of thought about this, and I've kind of thought about this whole philosophy which is behind Star Wars. I know that there is a book out there which does talk about the many philosophical themes that are in Star Wars, and I'm sure that there are more of them, but those are the two that I kind of got from it. So let me know what your thoughts are, and if you think I misconstrued things or whatever, and let me know what your thoughts are on those movies. Tell me what you thought about the seventh movie. Personally, I loved it. However, I did not like that Han Solo. I should just. That's kind of a spoiler that I was about to give away, so I'm sorry. I didn't like what happened to Han Solo. So if you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But other than that, I loved it. I love the character Kylo Ren. However, I don't like the Supreme Leader Snoke. In the seventh movie, they don't really tell you who he is, and he's not as awesome and badass and scary as Darth Maul or Darth Sidious, Darth Vader, and that, I think, is a problem. I don't really dig the Snoke character that much. So, again, let me know your thoughts below, and thank you.